Hello, Nordstrom. Welcome. How's everybody feeling today? Come on in. I want you to go ahead and find that chat box if you haven't already done so. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you have a favorite Jo Malone London fragrance, go ahead, share that in the chat. Let me know what your favorite is. And also, you should have each received an experience box full of goodies that we're going to be talking about today. So make sure that you have your box next to you so you can follow along with us live. My name is Pat Montelongo. I'm the head of education here at Jo Malone London. And with me today, I am joined by our lovely field executive training manager, Ali McNeill. Hey, Ali.
Hi, Nordstrom family, and hi, Pat. What a pleasure it is to be here with you all today. We're going to be chatting about a topic that we hold near and dear to our hearts, which is fragrance. And I'm looking in the chat, I'm seeing some of our guests are loving our fragrances too.
I love that. So for all, I love the hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that. So, Valentine's Day, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And as you can tell by Allie's red and my pink color that our choice is today, it's the perfect time to fall in love with fragrance. So whether you already have a favorite fragrance that you have already, or maybe you're trying out something new, today we want to make sure that maybe you fall in love a little bit more deeply with your favorite, or maybe we have a new love. And here at Jo Malone London, we make it super easy to find your perfect match. We're a luxury and lifestyle brand, and we offer products for the bath, the body, and home. Our fragrances are just as rich and rare, kind of like the connections that we cherish. They're really, truly unique.
Yeah, Pat, I would say so too. It's very, very unique. And when we think about it, there's so many different types of love. That's kind of the time of year. There's lots of different love in our life to celebrate. And thinking about that for our audience, I want you all to think about maybe that forever love, or maybe it is like a new love, one that is just fresh and blooming, that might have the potential to turn forever. And then there's also maybe the love for like deep friendships in our lives. And then there's also the self-care love, which is incredibly important. Wouldn't you agree, Pat? Self-love is also very important.
Girl,
I
I'm
know
so
you
with you.
can't pour from an empty cup. And scent really lends a deeper meaning to the phrase love is in the air. Because, Pat, I'm not sure if you know this, and I'm also wondering if our audience does, but did you know that our brain actually processes emotions and smell in the same exact area? So it's no wonder why we associate joyful, happy memories with people or places when we smell some of our favorite scents. Pretty fascinating.
I got to tell you, to that, Allie, all I have to say is everything that we talk about today is sure to have our audience falling in love at first scent, because we're going to be unwrapping some of our most beloved fragrances. So I invite everyone to tell us in the chat, who are you gifting for this Valentine's Day? Would love to know that. Me personally, I do have a love affair with someone who I deeply love. He's my husband.
Oh, thank
And
goodness.
then my second love, and I think a little bit my favorite, my son. Allie, what about you?
My husband. I mean, if I can say, I have several very close friends in my life too. So that's who I'm thinking of. And Nordstrom family, when we're talking about gifting, not only are you going to discover some of our most celebrated fragrances that also celebrate all kinds of these different types of love. But Pat, you and I together, we're going to show our audience how to find their perfect match with a technique that we use here at Jo Malone London, known as scent pairing. Is so special to us. So we're going to take you through that. Plus, we are going to be sharing with you some ultimate Valentine's Day treats, maybe so you can get creative, thinking about those gifting ideas, and then even tailor, shall I say, your own love letter with fragrance. But before we start, Pat, should we remind our audience of anything specific?
Yes. Today's event is live and completely shoppable. So we're going to drop the link for you to view and shop all of today's featured products in the chat right now. So as always, if you have any questions, be sure to drop them into the chat, and our team behind the scenes will answer anything that we haven't covered. So I think Nordstrom family, give me some of those hearts. And I think we're ready to dive head over heels into fragrance. Ali, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm feeling the hearts coming through. I'm not just seeing them, but I'm feeling them, Pat. So let's get this love fest started with our guests.
Well, the first collection that we're about to share with you really offers rich and rare scents inspired by faraway lands. I want you to think about maybe some captivating rituals, treasured ingredients. It's this spirit of discovery that ignites this mysterious and sensual world of Cologne Intense. This collection is where the heart note in the collection takes center stage. And in celebration of Valentine's Day, go ahead, throw up some hearts for me in the chat because we can't wait to open your hearts to the experiences that await.
Love this. Yeah. And Pat, I have to say, I just adore how the entire collection also celebrates this richness and the rarity. And I'm going to pick up two of the bottles right here because the bottles are also very reminiscent on these deep, warm kind of jewel colors that are reflective of, the exquisite places and journeys that these ingredients take us on. So very, very precious.
I mean, they really are gorgeous. Just as the collection and the scents in this collection have a story, every love story has to start somewhere too. There has to be a spark. And here at Jo Malone London, our spark is followed by a spritz of the most gorgeous and powerful scents that almost later blossom into fond memories that we can cherish for a lifetime.
Yeah, Pat, as you're saying this, when I think about that, like that initial spark or that initial spritz, as you just beautifully said, this idea of, again, like that new love, like that fresh blooming new love comes to mind. And when you think about maybe for our audience, if you're maybe a name or two is coming to mind, think about that time, if it's happening now, if it's happened in the past, but that feeling, it's fresh and exciting. And you might not know entirely where it's going, but you're down for the ride. You might get a little butterfly in your stomach, a few butterflies, not just one, but a few. And even as I'm saying that, like you might get blushed like the color of my dress. And when we think about that feeling, it's really kind of reminiscent of a very special scent that is us at Jo Malone London, that is really bright on that initial inhale, and it takes your breath away. I'm going to grab it. It is our alluring and very hypnotic and very mysterious Oud and Bergamot.
Oh, I love that packaging. I love the image that you painted for us, Ali. And for our Nordstrom family, go ahead, take out your Oud and Bergamot that you have in your bottle from your experience kit. Take out your blotter, and then we're going to spritz some right on the end of your kind of that scent strip that you have. So take your fragrance, do a couple little spritzes. I'm going to do a couple right here. I'm going to do 3 just because I want to. And Ali, I love that. And we're going to do a soft bend in there as well too, so we can really get this close to our nose, just like a perfumer would, right?
Yes. And Pat, you actually shared this with me, and I always love telling everyone this, but Nordstrom family, move that blotter back and forth underneath, from side to side underneath your sniffer, because your nose actually picks up different scents from one side to the other. So as you're smelling Oud and Bergamot, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine you are no longer currently where you're sitting or standing or maybe even laying down. You're in a faraway land. And I want you to imagine being in the center of an enveloping haze of captivating oud. And you can see the hypnotic smoke that is almost methodically like dancing into the air. And when you think about oud, it's very precious. Fascinatingly enough, too, its use of scenting the skin actually dates back over 1,400 years. So wow. It has been around for a while, and it's very famous for having this rich, resinous character. And with this fragrance, it really brings this spark and intensity, a depth. And I'd also love to share, there's a few extra notes in addition to the oud that are in here, and they play into that uplifting kind of new love spark that we're speaking into. There's bergamot, of course, which is really energizing. And then it's followed by cedarwood, which we love cedarwood, right, Pat? It's
Oh,
very
yeah.
grounding. And then luring you all the way to the end is that oud. So go ahead, let us know in the chat box if this scent is evoking maybe any new love memories for you.
Mm.
And Pat, I'll share. This scent reminds me of really kind of back when my husband and I first met each other. One of the things that we would do while we were just getting to know each other and spending time was just taking long drives and just being in the car, spending time together, sharing music together that we both enjoyed, laughing, telling stories about who we were and our upbringing. So, and I still to this day like cherish those long drives.
Mm,
So
I
this
love that.
fragrance is like that new love for me.
I love that. And I think, we're seeing some memories here in the chat as well too. But as you're talking about the fragrance, I can really kind of pick up that verdant, that almost, if I had to think of a color, that green tone, kind of a green jewel tone in this, just like the
Mhm.
bottle is itself. But Ali, I have to say, love has the potential, and I love that we're talking all different kinds of loves today with all of our
Yeah.
fragrances. New love has the potential to turn into something that withstands the test of time. And it really is that forever love, something rich and layered, because forever love has friendship, intimacy, vulnerability.
Yeah.
And that makes me think of one of my most absolute favorites, one of the many that made me fall in love with Jo Malone London, and that is our Velvet Rose and Oud.
I had a feeling, Pat, you might say that. So I did pull mine forward. And as long as I've been here and working and as your friend, I know of your deep love for Velvet Rose and Oud. So I can't wait for you to describe this to our Nordstrom guests.
So go ahead and grab your blotter strip and let's do the same thing. So we're going to take a spritz. We're going to go at the end of that blotter fragrance strip. And then we're going to do that soft bend at the end of it so we can get it close to our nose and smell. So I want you to imagine this. And I'm like, oh, I love it. As soon as that beginning comes, it's very majestic. And you have this
Yeah.
exquisite rose. It's a revered eternal beauty because it blooming once a year in early summer. The weather is pleasant, it's warm, it's sunny. But the damask rose is picked in the morning, and imagine that sunlight that just begins to softly reveal that flower's fragrance. But while the blooms still retain a little bit of that freshness from the previous night. And as you smell this opulent floral, it has spicy honey facets and it kind of wraps this around a sumptuous texture. That rich rose has a little bit of that smoky oud wood. So you might remember that from the previous scent. So we have it in here as well too. And it's spiked with clove. And then there's something a little bit sweeter in there. You have a little bit of praline in there. Pretty cool, right?
Love this one. And I
Yeah.
always love how you describe it, Pat. Your
Mm.
choice of words, it is you and just the ingredients entirely. This one is so exquisite.
So imagine yourself wearing this. So and especially if you're in that decadent mood, you want something that's rich and you can feel the texture of this fragrance. So if you're going to wear it yourself, and when you do wear it, I encourage you, this should be the fragrance that should be closest to your body, because always those richer and warmer scents should be very closest to your skin. Um, very close. So that way, whoever comes close to you also will be enwrapped with this fragrance as well, too. Right?
Pat, who's coming close to you these days?
That would be my husband. He's going to be close to me. Oh, listen, I've got a fun fact for you.
What?
Did you know, and Nordstrom family, you might know this, but if you're looking for some ideas, I've got this one for you. Great trivia. Did you know that a single red rose stands for love at first sight, or you're still the one,
No.
right? That's just one
No.
rose. Okay, now
Okay.
we're getting bigger. A dozen roses are for proposals or confessing love for the first time.
So 12. We went from
12.
1 to 12. Okay.
So that's for proposals if you're getting ready to
Uh-huh.
propose, 12 roses,
Yeah.
or confessing your love for the first time. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
ready? Okay. The grandest of all, exactly 101 roses. Yeah. 101 roses means I'm crazy for you, or my love knows no bounds.
Okay, so for our audience, I want you to think about you and maybe who you would want to offer that single rose to. And maybe consider pairing the hypnotic oud and bergamot, the one I shared with you earlier, maybe with a single rose to celebrate that new love story. And Pat, I have a suggestion for you. You should totally gift those 101 roses with your velvet rose and oud to your lovely husband to really drive home that forever love knows no bounds. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you.
101 roses. My goodness.
Right?
I love that. I think it's really special, to think about sharing life with someone. But again, whether it's a new love or that forever love, it has to ultimately start with us, right? Because we can't pour from an empty cup, and we have to remember to pour back into our own cup. So I would say, let us know in the chat, Nordstrom family, what is something that you like to do for yourself to pour back into your own cup? There's that saying, you're better for someone else when you're taking care of yourself. So what do you like to do to pour back into your own cup? And Pat, I'm going to ask you that question. What do you like to do to pour back into your own cup?
I mean, kind of similar to some things that we're seeing in the chat here. I like to be out in nature and just, go out into my backyard, do some gardening. I see my friend Rachel out there is also a gardener. Yeah, thank you. But it's just so nice to get outside and just the feeling of the weather and just the warmth of the sun on your face. It really is pretty incredible. What about you?
I love that. I mean, I think about, activities that are similar to that. I think I saw also just exercise and running coming into the chat. But also it starts with scent. And when I think about self-love, I also think of self-empowerment
Hmm.
and doing things that make you feel, strong, like you're finding your own source of strength. And I want to share one of our colognes from the Cologne Intense collection that for me really kind of lends itself to this source of strength. So, Nordstrom family, it is the cypress and grapevine. Now, go ahead and find it in your experience kit, take it out, grab that blotter. You're all professionals now at spraying your Jo Malone London blotters. And after you've sprayed, you're going to go on a journey. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine a beautiful vision right in front of you. You have fresh cypress
Mm.
together with these entwined grapevines. And what you're seeing is also bringing in this aromatic and evergreen character that you're smelling. And where you're placed is in a hanging garden. And of all the seven wonders in the world, especially of the ancient world, there's none more mysterious than the hanging gardens.
Mm.
And the hanging gardens were, I mean, Pat, we love this story with this
Oh,
fragrance.
story
The
of
hanging
love,
gardens are verdant, right? And
right?
you can see the color tones are green, and you can also see these royal blue waterfalls coming down from these man-made aqueducts. And so this one, I imagine, seeing these waterfalls suspended high above kind of the skyline, that would be my thought of reaching over, pouring and filling up your cup. And this is a scent that I love to reach for when I might want to feel like more confident, or for anyone that might want to feel like they want a statement piece in their wardrobe.
For sure.
It's so brave. I like to say it's extraordinary, and this will turn heads. This will, when you walk by someone, they will say, "What are you wearing?" So cypress and grapevine.
I love the richness of that cypress.
Mm,
It's so incredible.
yeah,
Super rich. I'm seeing some hearts for this one. People already have it. Love it. And if you don't, there's always add to cart.
I know, right? Right. I know. And to me, it's all about connecting this one to self-love.
Mhm.
And that's what this fragrance and the ingredients, they really do.
I love that you connected this to self-love. It's true. When we show
Yeah.
up for ourselves, like you said earlier, we can show up better for others. And that includes some great friendships. And the next fragrance that I like to associate with, kind of that incredible friendship that you have, just a great friend, if you will.
Yeah.
The fragrance that I love to share with that is our sweetly decadent scarlet poppy, right? Scarlet poppy.
Yes.
So go ahead. Let's grab our scarlet poppy. Take a blotter, right? A little spritz. Now I want you to do this for me. I want you to imagine these extravagant blooms, scarlet colored blooms. And these remind me of that great scarlet poppy. And imagine these poppies all around you.
Mm.
Now, these poppies are 8-inch petal cups and they sit on top of
Huge.
it's a
Really big.
meter high stem.
Mhm.
So this great scarlet poppy, it's oversized variety of oriental poppy, and it retains almost this mystery and wildness about it. And it kind of reflects the landscape from where it comes from. But when you first smell this scent, you notice this cocooning powdery feel in the beginning of it. Now, the reason that we chose that is because it harmonizes really well with that bloom and their opulence that is inside the fragrance. Now, we took the heart of that scarlet poppy, and you might notice as you're smelling, you've got that warm cocoon powdery effect, and then it starts to open us with this kind of opulent feel. It is that scarlet poppy, and to add texture to it, we added velvety iris to it as well. And then as you continue to smell, now take it away from your nose for just a second.
Okay.
Okay. And then come back into it. You'll notice lastly these accents of almond and vanilla, giving it almost like a Moorish effect, not less, but more.
Yes.
So when we kind of liken it to friendships, imagine it growing over time, just like those
Yeah.
long stems of a poppy flower. And these colorful petals, or these little ink dots, are almost reminiscent of trails of memories that you had with your best friend, right?
Stop it. I just love this one. And even thinking of the beautiful kind of ruby jewel tone that the bottle
Yeah.
has, and those ingredients really kind of play a full part in the experience. But Pat, the word that you used to describe it was Moorish. And I've never really heard that word before. So it stands out to me, even in thinking about, like you were mentioning, friendships, true connected friendships. They always welcome you back for greater love. And just as each of these types of love have this potential to grow deeper,
Mhm.
I say we get into our fun activity planned to help our Nordstrom family elevate every single one of these fragrances through something we call scent pairing. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Scent pairing is something that is so unique to us at Jo Malone London. It's the ability to take more than one fragrance and wear it with another. So you can wear multiple fragrances at a time to create a truly unique effect. And imagine it like this. You can, take one fragrance and scent combination and make it like your daytime fresh. And then even if you want to switch it up, you could take another fragrance, add it maybe, as you're heading into the evening, and create a little bit more of an evening warmth. So it is very special. You can scent pair based on the mood that you're in, the occasion, right, Pat? Or
For
sometimes
sure.
even like the outfit that you might have on.
Right. You know, what's interesting, and just so for all of you to know, our fragrances are incredible on their own, so they can definitely be worn alone. But introducing scent pairing invites you to take that fragrance one step further to make it your own. So you can kind of think about this as your own scented statement. So create that signature scent that really celebrates that moment or that emotion or that feeling that you have with maybe a little bit of element of surprise.
Yeah.
So earlier we talked about you when we speak about warmer fragrances, those have a tendency to be a little bit richer and more of those decadent, either spicier, rich florals or woodier tones.
Mhm.
Those are usually, if you're going to try a fragrance and you have some of those richer scents, you'll always want to try and put the richer fragrance on first,
Mhm.
closest to the skin. And then on top of that, you'll want those brighter, more citrusy or fruitier fragrances to go right on top of it. The great news is when you're scent pairing, here's what you cannot do. You cannot make a mistake. because our fragrances are
Yeah.
actually designed to be combined. So that means we actually limit the number of ingredients that go inside of our fragrance. So exactly what you see is on the name of the bottle. You'll be able to smell that. So when you think about velvet rose and oud, you're actually smelling the rose and the oud and the fragrance. And so it's pretty incredible for us. And so that's why we encourage you to have fun, experiment a little bit. But if you just wanted a simple rule, it's those warmer scents that can go on first, and then those brighter, a little bit lighter, fresher scents can go right on top. But on the flip side, if it's during the day, kind of like what you said earlier, Ali, maybe
Yeah.
you're wearing that light, fresh scent and you want to add that aura of surprise and something a little bit richer. That's when you do those warmer, rich fragrances,
I love
right?
it. Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the fragrances that we've explored so far with the audience, I can't think of a better way to kick off our scent pairing experience than, with Velvet Rose and Oud. Pat, which one are you going to be bringing in to swoop things in and switch them up with your Velvet Rose and Oud?
I have to tell you, it's like forever love and
Uh-huh.
always a favorite. That is English pear and freesia. It is that fragrance that, you know what, you come back to it time and time again. This fragrance will add this mellow, sensuous freshness of just right pears. And we wrap this in a bouquet of white freesias. It's cool, it's mellow, it's golden. So when you add this with that incredible velvet rose and oud, you have that rich, decadent texture, but now that freshness of just right pears. So imagine adding that element of enchantment, kind of like maybe when would I wear it? Date night, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe in a pear orchard. I'm just saying, find one.
I love it. How about Pat, even further? What about a picnic with 101 roses? And this picnic is taking place in that pear orchard.
I love that. I love it, love it, love it. So, what fragrance would you use to introduce and deepen your fragrance?
Okay, so Oud and Bergamot was the one that, I introduced as like the one to wear
Right?
with the new love. We were talking about butterflies in the stomach and kind of feeling that pitter patter of the heart. So I am scent pairing my Oud and Bergamot with wood sage and sea salt because just when you thought you could not get enough butterflies, Oud and bergamot takes your breath away, and then while layering it with wood sage and sea salt, this is going to be the perfect aquatic way to sweep you off your feet. Takes you right to the coastline, not just any coastline, but that coastline that you would like. I don't know if this is a theme for picnics, Pat, but you want to
Mm.
go to this coastline and you want to pack a picnic and enjoy the time with this new love. And you're looking around and you can see driftwood and sage, and those are some keynotes in
Ooh.
the wood, sage, and sea salt. It's an extraordinary scent, and it scent pairs incredibly well and easy with oud and bergamot. Great combination.
I have to tell you, I love what you just said. It's easy. Wood sage and sea salt, it's truly one of our most popular scents. But I also have another one that's iconic, especially for this time of year, and that is red roses.
Yes.
Right? Red
Yes.
roses. I have to tell you, red roses, this fragrance, it's timeless, it's romantic.
Mhm.
This is a light floral fragrance. So it's inspired by a bouquet of freshly cut garden roses. And there's actually 7 varieties of red roses inside this fragrance. So when you smell it and the fragrance itself, you'll get this very fresh, uplifting feel of, believe it or not, there's lemon in the beginning of this fragrance. And as soon as I smell that lemon, it kind of uplifts your mood, almost as if one of your best friends is right around you, just uplifting
Hmm.
you. And
Yeah.
then there's also, for those of you that are lovers of this already, you've got that lemon note in there. Then you have these incredible fresh cut roses in the center of it. And then there's a little bit of honeycomb, just to add a little bit of a honeyed feel to it.
Yeah.
So if you want to pair red roses with any of the fragrances that we've talked about today, it will add a clear rose accent to any of our fragrances. So if you're looking for something to do that, red roses is definitely the one for you. It's one that you always want to have by your side, kind of
I
like your
love
best
that.
friend.
Yeah, it is. It's just like a best friend, Pat. Oh, And I know even at the beginning of our time together, I hope everyone was maybe thinking about, maybe who that best friend or that dear friend is that you can call up, you can talk to
Right?
them forever, even if it's been months. And you just happen to pick up right where you left off. Anyone out there, put it in maybe put some X's and O's in the chat box if you're relating, or maybe even thinking about that special friend and maybe who you might want to be gifting this Valentine's Day. Maybe it's a special friend, maybe it's a galentine. Valentine's Day.
I love that. But let me ask you a question. Could you be your own galentine?
Ooh, and the plot thickens.
Right?
Yes, I don't see why not. I mean, absolutely. Being a best friend to yourself is also important. And going even back to the talk of self-love, it is super important to turn inward as it is to go outward. And it's like monitoring, that positive self-talk, for instance. And for that, I was sharing earlier, scent pairing or even starting with the cypress and grapevine for that self-empowerment, even taking in and layering peony and blush suede. So this fragrance adds a bit of softness and a delicate touch with the feel and play of like almost ball gowns, like royal ball gowns. Love this one because it is so unique and you can spritz it on any time, but it's playful. It has elegant peony in there as well as juicy red apple. So again, this is like the playful and this is the empowered. So wonderful scent pair right here as well.
Love that combination, because I
Yeah.
love that because we really need to treat ourselves. So I want you to think about that, just as you would your best friend. And even the way we speak and feel about ourselves and treat ourselves and the way we treat ourselves, we kind of want to tell you a little bit more about some sensational gifting ideas for those really lovely connections in our life. So I
Pat,
want
did you just say
I did.
sensational instead of sensational?
I did. You
Love it. That's cute. That's cute. That's
got
cute.
it.
I love it. This is one of my most favorite aspects of the brand too, is that you can spritz and scent pair any of the fragrances that we've discussed, but then you get to also enjoy these fragrances as products that you can weave into your lifestyle. And shall I say, really scent the mood, Pat?
I love our puns. It's
I
very
know.
exciting.
Sorry, I know we're having a great time. Curious to see what you're going to be doing with your fragrances, Pat. Show us.
Okay, when speaking about lifestyle, I
Mhm.
have a showstopper. You ready?
Yes.
I have our Velvet Rose and Oud Deluxe Candle. And the space that I would recommend this, the bedroom.
Love that.
So
Love
think about Velvet Rose and Oud. We talked about the fragrance earlier. So you have this sensual damask rose,
that.
you have a little bit of clove, and then that decadent oud. I have to tell you, as soon as I opened this up, it just poured out. The scent was absolutely incredible. So think about the space that you would love to put this in, because this particular candle has the 3 wicks inside here. So when you light this, you will absolutely get a gorgeous flame from this. And the ambiance of the Velvet Rose and Oud scent really gives you this deep connection, this deep mood that's surrounding you. Speaking about a special date night, would be incredible for this. Now, I want to tell you, this particular candle, because of the 3 wicks that it has inside of it, this will last about 90 hours that you will have this incredible candle with you, right? So
Yeah.
think about that, Allie. I
I
love
love
this.
thinking about that. And I feel like now that you've gotten me thinking, I feel like you're about ready to bring in another beloved scent. I'm
You
feeling
got
like I'm on to you, Pat. I'm on to you.
So, in thinking about lifestyle, so we have an incredible candle.
Mhm.
Okay. So it has that warm, enveloping feel. So imagine that space where you would put it. But before entering that space, maybe you want to create this welcoming feel, something that's quick and easy to kind of get you in the mood for that very entrance. And that is English Parenfresia. And this is a room spray, right? So a
Mhm.
room spray gives you that instant feeling. And I'm spraying around here right now, and I can get that sensational scent of cool, mellow, golden pears, a little bit of that incredible freesia flower, and a soft ambery note. So think about this. Whenever you want to create an instant mood, using a room spray does that for you. And I always like to keep one of these by my door for that unexpected guest. Not really. I am expecting. Mhm.
Your neighbor.
Right. My neighbor. But think about that. So you have your candle, and
Mhm.
then for instant mood change is a room spray,
Love that.
right?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I think too, thinking about the way that our room sprays and the candles really go together, very similar to how we were sharing with you. You can't go wrong. It's all on, the mood that you're trying to create, or even the style or the occasion. And we do that also with our incredible room diffusers. And I have our myrrh and tonka diffuser right here because I keep talking about this new love. Although I'm coming up on my 8th wedding anniversary, I'm so grateful. It still feels like a new love to me. You can't go wrong with a diffuser, more specifically our myrrh and tonka diffuser. To share with you what you'll love about a Jo Malone London diffuser is, first of all, the aesthetic. The design fits stunningly in any home. It comes with these luxurious reeds. There's actually 10 in here, and they're elegant looking. You don't need to, worry about flipping them after you set them in. But I want to tell you about the fragrance because it is so captivating. Wouldn't you agree, Pat? There's
Oh
something
my
very
gosh, just
special.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Very,
I
very
mean,
special. And it has kind of like that warmth, but note just the elegance of it,
mm.
right?
So Allie, I think some people sometimes have some questions because you said all 10 reads,
Mm-hmm.
and we should always put all 10 in there, right?
Yes. Always put all 10 in there, and you want to give it about 48 hours to fully for the actual liquid to fully be loaded up into the rattan reeds. From that point forward, we've been told by clients that they'll sometimes like to take out a reed depending on if it's a smaller space,
Mm.
but put all 10 reeds in here. And as an extra tip, we love to share because the aesthetic of this is so gorgeous, and you can see that it comes with the silver rim. This just unscrews, so just make sure that when you place the reeds in, that you use this to keep the elegance and also get the optimum usage out of the diffusers.
It's pretty
So good.
incredible.
Yeah.
I love that.
Let me tell you about the myrrh and tonka scent though, because as we know, I have it in the diffuser, but we have it as one of our featured Cologne Intense scents. It's in the body product. We have it in our luxurious candles. And what you'll love about the myrrh and tonka is it's very, very special. It has this sensual ambery scent. And you can literally close your eyes and imagine seeing yourself walking through these golden sand dunes. And the sand dunes are not just anywhere, they're actually in the heart of the Namib Desert. In this desert, particularly, there is a resinous scent that is very rare. And as you're exploring and as you're walking around, you're noticing that the air is warm and it's hot. You can smell this exotic essence.
Mm,
The essence, you like this, Pat, right? The
I
essence
do.
is coming from a resin, which is from the amubri tree, and it produces this resin that drops only one time a year. It naturally falls from this tree, and it is hand harvested only in August. This resin is so special. It is called myrrh, and it has this sensuality. It has this warmth. It infuses any fragrance with this, dare I say, like exquisite
Mm.
richness. So, and I have to ask our Nordstrom family, do we have any fans of our myrrh and tonka out there, or even our home products like our candles and diffusers? Put some love in the chat. As you can tell, we love our home products at Jo Malone London.
For sure. I have to tell you, I love our diffusers,
Yeah.
but also too for, thinking about that friendship as well too. I'm gonna have to bring up another candle, and that this is a personal favorite. I truly burn this candle in my home. This is the Red Roses candle. And I have to tell you, when I think about red roses, and we talked about the scent earlier, is that you have these fresh cut roses. And for me, every time I like freshen up my home or do like a
Mhm.
spring cleaning or whatever, I always have to fill my house back with love. And red roses is that perfect candle to do that.
Wow.
Right?
I love it. I mean, why not, Pat? Red roses, like you were saying earlier, it's very clear. I love that description of this one. It's clear, like friendship.
True. But I'm going to give you another tip. Think
What?
about this. So think about friendship. And I know that, Ali, you and I are miles away from each other. We're from one side of the coast to the other side of the coast. And
Yes.
you and I both have a very incredible love affair for the Red Roses candle.
Mm.
What if we thought about this for you, my Nordstrom family? Think about buying two candles, two diffusers. Buy one for yourself and one for your best friend. It's kind of like a friendship bracelet.
Yeah.
So that way when you're apart and you light it, it's like the two of you are sharing a gorgeous scent of that fragrance together, right?
Oh my goodness, Pat. Even like as I'm uncapping my red roses, I know you're smelling this same exact thing right now. And there's so many special, so many beautiful notes in this. Right. It almost like reminds me or makes me think about how fragrance has notes just like music. And
Yeah.
with my friends, I'm sure many of us did this, making playlists for friends to make you feel like you're listening together, even though you're far apart. Um, it reminds me of sharing a song.
Oh, listen. Speaking of which, if I could compare Red Roses to a song, it would be kind of like that single rose. You're still the one.
I love that song.
Okay, I'm not a singer, so I'm not going to even try. But for those of you that can hum along, that's my song.
Pat, you always sound great to me.
Right.
Always.
What would it be for you? What song would this remind you of?
I was just thinking, I mean, just with the happiness, I'm having a great time with you. I think you know that. There's like, to me, it's like that song that also makes you feel great and makes you always want to dance. It's Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody.
I
You
love
could
that.
put it on anytime, anywhere, and it just makes you want to dance.
I
Yeah,
love it.
I love that.
So I just want to kind of recap a little bit of what we talked about, especially when you're scenting your home. So think about this and think about the occasions and celebrations or those moments with friends and loves. Is candles are something that, when you think about candles or diffusers, and Allie, with your diffusers
Mhm.
are always on and
Yes.
they welcome you into a space.
Mhm.
Candles will add that ambiance. So think about a candle can turn on and you can turn the candle off. So that makes a nice accent with the diffuser to kind of alter and kind of change the space and the mood a little bit more. But
Mhm.
if you want to change the space and mood a little bit more quickly, that's where your room sprays come into the play of that. So that way, if you instantly want to refresh or create a mood, the room sprays are best to do that. So we encourage, really, what do you want your space to be like? What do you want it to kind of feel like? You know, for even for those who want to kind of gift themselves a self-love treat,
I
right?
love that. Yeah, like a self-love, like kind of even considering we do so much for others to think about why not gift yourself something that's like a self-love treat. Yeah. I love it. Let's talk about that, Pat, because when it comes to self-care, it's so important to have that ritual, have that practice that you can consistently go back and remind yourself it's time to get back to that practice or engage in to ground yourself, to make yourself feel centered. And there's good reason to do it. I'm good with facts, Pat, and I'm excited to also share this, that when practicing a ritual that makes you feel grounded, it actually boosts your mental and physical health. So, and I think at this point in time, we've heard it, we've read about it, but it is time to do something about it. So I'm going to show everyone how to essentially encourage your ritual, and maybe encourage you as you're thinking about this special ritual for yourself, Nordstrom family. I want you to think about you in this moment and showing some self-love for your skin and incorporating something just as amazing and as opulent as peony and blush suede. So I'm going to share with you all what I've been doing for my bathing ritual. I'm all about self-care for the skin and to incorporate the softness from the peony and blush suede fragrance we were experiencing earlier. I love using the body wash, and you can use
Mm,
this in the shower, make a luscious bubble bath, if you will. So morning or evening. And then when you use this, it will envelop your entire room in the scent. But then when you get out and you towel off, take some of your Peony and Blush Suede body creme. This is luxurious, it's decadent, it truly hydrates the skin immediately and it absorbs fast, which I love. But together, this is such a great way to incorporate like a moment for yourself to slow down. Again, finding the time in the morning or in the evening. You'll want to go head to toe. You're not just going to want to put this on the back of your hand like I'm doing right now. But adding the body cream, you'll essentially get the most out of the experience. And just like our colognes and our home products, you can mix and match and layer different scents of the body products, depending on, again, your mood, your style, maybe even have fun, your personality. How do you want people to experience you?
I
So
love that.
peony and blush suede combination for a bathing ritual, Pat.
It's about simple pleasures, and I look forward to unwinding with a relaxing shower after a busy day, wrapping my skin in the body cream afterwards. It's almost like a decadent spa experience, but also, Allie, something that you bring in that's super important. For our fragrances to really fully evolve on skin, the best way to wear fragrance is exactly what you said, that ritual of beginning in the shower, of how we cleanse our skin. But also, for fragrance to fully develop on skin, it needs two things. It needs heat and it needs hydration. So that's why that creme that you're talking about is super important, to have hydrated skin
Mhm.
and then put your fragrance right on top of that. The two will truly evolve, and then that fragrance will continue to develop quite beautifully on your skin. And especially as we're in these winter months, it is so crucial for us to put on a moisturizer on our skin. And our cremes are so decadent, which I absolutely love, right?
They are. They leave your skin soft, hydrated. Jojoba oil is in there, so very, very nourishing. Pat, I gotta say, I could talk fragrances with you all day long, and I'm looking at the clock, and I know that we're nearing the end of our time together with our Nordstrom family. So I'm thinking, let's open it up to the chat for any last minute questions. And also, family, feel free to share something that you love or enjoyed about our time together. And Pat, while we wait, we're big on takeaways. And I love taking away little tips and tricks and knowledge moments from you. So, what would you share with our Nordstrom family? What's your takeaway when it comes to enjoying the amazing fragrances that we have to offer here at Jo Malone London?
I mean, I think it's really about weaving Jo Malone London into your lifestyle, and that could translate into different things for many people. So think about the fragrance that we've talked about today and how we can wear them differently. And each fragrance can really take on its own life. So, for example, when I think of Velvet Rose and Oud myself, it puts me in the mood to kind of, as soon as I come home, peel off everything that is too constricting, because I'm just going to say that,
Yes.
and just kind of sit down on my fantastic couch. Maybe there's a glass of bubbles right next to that sofa, maybe a little decadent chocolate for a moment of indulgence. And that velvet rose and oud candle just welcomes me and puts me in that mood. Now, how would you take that velvet rose and oud?
Well, well, this is kind of the beauty of the experience. First of all, I've seen the inside of your home, Pat, and you have beautiful style. So I can imagine your beautiful white couch, your beautiful art. I can imagine those bubbles. I'm there with you. But I have to say, Velvet Rose and Oud, especially with the deluxe candle right here, I kind of switch off with it. I go into more of a relaxation mode.
Mhm.
I've got kind of like a small cozy loft at my house, and it has my music equipment, and so sometimes it's my candle that I like to light when I want to just relax, unwind, maybe play some music or even read a book. So for me, it's all about relaxation. And I love how, both you and I are sharing ways to experience and enjoy one scent and in different ways, because that's what it's about at Jo Malone London.
I love that. When I think about, the endless possibilities that we have, I have to tell you, it really is something super special. And I've had such a great time spreading the love of our fragrances and all things Jo Malone London. So we hope that we've inspired you to fall in deeper in love with some fragrances and add some goodies to your cart and to share the many loves that you cherish in your life. Right, Allie?
Yeah, Pat, I just love the time that I always get to spend with you and our incredible Nordstrom family. This is always such a joy. It's such a pleasure to be here. So yeah, I mean, journeying all the way from the Namib desert to experiencing rich oud and going to the Hanging Gardens. I'm feeling like I've got a little bit of like a Cupid heartbeat going on. How about how about you?
I think we do. And speaking of Cupid, I have an arrow to flash at someone out there for
Yes.
our sweeps winner that we have a three-piece luxurious
Yeah.
Cologne Intense gift for a very special winner. And her name is Barbara S. Oh, yes, Barbara, you are our Valentine. So you have a very special prize coming your way.
Oh,
Seeing
that's
all
so
that love in there,
exciting. So
right?
exciting. Congratulations, Barbara. And thank you
Yay.
for everyone for spending your afternoon or early evening with Pat and I. It's hard to
Yeah.
say goodbye.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And also to our Nordstrom family, thank you so much for having us. And we look forward to another time to spend with you coming soon. But before I go, I have one final wish to share with you. I'm sure a lot of you have fragrances at home that they're sitting in a very special place of honor, and you're thinking, oh, I need to save them for a special occasion. My friends, if I could ask one favor of you, wear your fragrance every day. And why not feel great every day? So don't save it, wear it, and feel great. That's what we want you to do, because when you feel good, we feel good, and the rest of the world feels that incredible love of when you wear a scent. So, Allie, happy Valentine's Day.
Hmm.
And to our Nordstrom family, happy Valentine's Day to you. And thank you again so much for your time. Until next time, we at Nordstrom's and at Jo Malone London remain at your service. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day, Pat. Thank you.